I want to talk to you about 10xing. Not the version most people are posting about online, not just hustle harder, wake up at 5 a.m., do more, be more. That's actually not what I mean, although, I respect everyone's thing, you do you. But I'm talking about the version that actually changes how you think about your business, your income, your revenue model, and especially your life. Hello, and welcome to Fail to Win, a show where we love to make mistakes and learn from them so you can turn your passion into profits and live life on your own terms. I'm Amy van de Putte from FastForwardAmy, your host and coach, and I'll bring you a new episode with simple strategies every Tuesday. Because when I say 10x, the first thing I want to make abundantly clear is you cannot 10x your hours, even though you probably want to and you probably want to do more. I know I had this really big realization at one point. I was on the highway and I was thinking I want to achieve things like other really big names in the world. And I realized hey, they really don't have 10 times as many hours in a day, but they are generating 10 times the output or having 10 times the ROI or the income. So I realized okay, so it must not be the time and just doing more. There must be something else. And you've probably noticed this too, because you're already working, you're putting in the work. And if more hours were the answer, let's be honest, those late nights would have fixed it by now. So if it's not more hours, then what is it? This is not a typical opportunity cost episode. I've covered that in the past already. I actually want to talk to you about how I've been obsessing about 10xing. And so I am currently 10xing my income this decade. And I want to give you a little personal episode about a personal update about everything I'm currently obsessing about. So I've just come off spending a month with some seriously impressive people. The mastermind I'm a part of with my mentor, my leadership coach, my mastermind friends. Then I have my own masterminds with my clients, and every conversation continues to circle back to the same questions. And I'll let you in on a couple of the wishes people in my masterminds have. So most women I'm currently coaching, they want to, build a profitable, scalable business. That means they want to move beyond trading their time for money. They want recurring revenue, all of that. They want to reclaim their time and personal freedom, often for their health, for their family. And then third on the list is they want to build authority and the recognizable personal brand. All things I'm obsessed with as well. So that's good news. And a couple of the topics that come up is, how do you stop being the bottleneck? How do you monetize your knowledge and skills away from your time? How do you grow without burning out, without always doing more and not just shattering your boundaries in terms of, people pleasing? How do you have enough? So when do you start feeling secure financially and confident, and will it ever be enough? And how to build a long-lasting community instead of just one-off customers. So all of these are things that keep my clients up at night, and have definitely helped me up at night in the past. And so what it comes down to a lot of these women, and myself included, is, can we have it all, and how do we get it all? And this is a question I've been thinking about a long time for myself as well. And so the question is, how do you 10x? Because if you don't have more time and you don't want to die, you don't want your ambition to destroy your health or your personal life, how the fuck do you do it? So I'm going to share something personal first, because this will give you some context for everything I'm about to say. I'm currently 33 and I started early in entrepreneurship, and I have made good money in the past couple of years. I've made good investments. So I'm okay, financially, if something were to happen, I'd be good. And I want some more for myself. I have some big goals for myself, for my kids, for my future. So I have a goal of being fully financially free by the time I am 40, according to the FIRE principle. So I want to be able to live abundantly from my passive income, basically. And when I say passive income, I don't mean passive income online business-wise, but truly passive income, from my investments. So I'm also, aside from the fact that I have that goal, I'm 33, I'm of a childbearing age, and I'm in a season where I am consciously designing my business to have space for the things I want in my personal life too, including when they children. I have a plan to homeschool my kids. I'm not going to go into the whole thing of, are you ever ready to have kids or not? Because everyone loves to give me unsolicited advice, and I truly do not want your advice. But I will say this. From my perspective, after having coached over 8,000 business owners, mostly women, I have watched way too many entrepreneurs, women especially, especially, severely underestimate how much a baby changes things. Not just emotionally, but practically. You just have a lot less space time in your business. A lot of women do say like it really heightens your priorities. You have a lot less time and space for people pleasing. So I know and believe all of that. I'm in a very special situation where I have been very close to women going through this. And at the same time, I've never been the one birthing the baby. And so for me, I think I've had an incredible up close view of what it does to your time and your energy and, the sleepless nights and what happens not just with the first kid, but then the second kid. And so basically, long story short, I'm building my business in a way that I get to enjoy my ambition and my dreams and also enjoy the time I will want to spend with my kids. So basically, I'm baby-proofing my business. I'm not going to lie about it. I'm not currently having kids. I just, who knows when it happens? And I just want my business to be ready for it. Meaning it can run when I'm not running it every day. And so that decision, I think more than anything, combined with some of the health issues I've had the last couple of years when my hormones were a bit too cortisol, is what got me, like it really pushed me to get serious about 10x. So the first shift I made in order to 10x is I changed my timeline. And this is weird to say, but I used to feel like I had to have everything figured out fast. Amy in her 20s, fast forward Amy, do everything today, this week, get things done, move quickly. Amy in her 30s, somewhere in the last year, I started sitting with a different question. What if I stopped trying to win this week, this month, this quarter, this year even? What if not all my goals were for this year? What if I started building for the next decade? And that question has changed a lot for me. It took a lot of pressure off. I think a lot of entrepreneurs need more pressure. I am someone who needs less pressure because I'm good at creating pressure for myself and urgency. And so when you're building for right now, you're always in competition mode. You're always looking at who's ahead, who's behind, what should I be doing? Can I do more? What's working this quarter? Oh, you know what? I'll do more this weekend on Sunday. And it's really exhausting and it keeps you making short-term decisions. And it also you get feelings of scarcity if you feel like you can't win this year. But when you're building for the next decade, you stop asking, how do I get more sales this month? And you start asking, what am I building that will still be working 10 years from now? And those questions lead somewhere completely different with, different things you worry about, not worry about, and that you spend time and effort on. So I recently read a book, 10x is easier than 2x. And you might know the 10x book by Grant Cardone, fully different principle. 10x by Grant Cardone, love that book as well, but it's very much about how to 10x your volume. And I love volume, but in this book, we talk about how to 10x without doing 10 times more. And there's one example in it that made this fully click for me for the first time ever, actually. So Mr. Beast, one of the most viewed famous creators on YouTube, said it's much easier to make one video that gets 1 million views than to make 10 videos that get 50,000 views each. So I'll say that again. It's a lot easier to make a video that gets 1 million views than to make 10 videos that get 50,000 views each. Because if you think about it, the second option is a lot less work and way more reach. Because if you were to make 10 videos of 50,000 views, you'd have to script, set up, record, edit, cover. You'd have to do all of those things 10 times and you would get 500,000 views. Versus spending a little bit more time on a better cover, on a better hook, on a better script. Even if you try to really up the quality on that one video to get 1 million views, you're not going to have to script 10 videos on all of it. So it's actually easier to make the one video that gets you 1 million views. And this kind of goes, I think this goes against advice I would give beginners. Beginners, I would just say, go for volume, go and fail quickly. If you know you need to fail 100 times to win the 101st time, go and fail 100 times as fast as possible. But at a certain point, you hit this ceiling where you're like, I really know I cannot do more. So you're going to have to start adopting the 10x mindset. And 10x is not doing more of the same. It's doing fewer things, but doing the right things with a lot more intention and quality. And this has changed how I think about almost everything in my business and how I'm training my team as well. Because I'm actually training my team to not go through the motions, but to always think about how can we impact 10 times more people? How can we get our clients 10 times more results? How can we be 10 times more efficient? Like all of that stuff. Because otherwise, if you don't have that strategy set, then you'll make 10 really shit videos and you'll be like, yeah, we posted content. Okay, but you didn't get any sales. So I'd rather have one video that gets us 50 sales than 10 videos that it gets no sales. One is being intentional and the other is just doing work for the sake of work. So what I'm actually doing specifically to 10x my business and income over the next decade, number one is I'm going all in on what I am genuinely exceptionally good at. So I've been obsessed about this for 6 months, if I'm being honest. I even gave a workshop on this to my family, to my clients, like everywhere I'm spending time on this. But I have done a really deep leadership assessment and training this year. And it confirmed what I already knew about myself, but it gave me a real framework and language for it. And you probably know DISC, Insights, Culture Index, all of those things. I have a lot of what they call red and yellow in my profile. So what we would call like the ambition and the dominance traits, and then the people and the creative traits, stuff like that. But I don't love execution, details, and operations. And I knew this already. But when I asked myself what I would actually need to do to 10x my business, the answer is not try harder at the things I'm bad at. No, it was become extraordinary at the things I'm brilliant at. That means for me, it's sales, marketing, leadership, and actually investing heavily in people, systems, and AI to handle everything else. So currently, I was a bit understaffed in my business on the admin side of things, business support. So I'm actually investing a lot of my brain on operations and team management because even though I know I'm better at the other stuff, it's just, it had to happen. So slowly but surely, I was spending more and more time on what I call the blue tasks in my business. But that's 50% of my best thinking going somewhere. It will never produce a 10x return versus if you have me record more podcasts or better podcasts, I'll get a bigger return there. I don't know if you noticed it in this episode or in a previous episode, but I actually practiced my episodes for the first time ever because I'm like, I'm going to try and see if I can get even better at this. I'd much rather spend more time on this than on admin. And so something shifted when I really committed to this. I noticed I became much kinder to myself because instead of beating myself up for the things I'm not good at or trying to be more of the boss and the manager than I actually want to be, I started treating those gaps as hiring decisions, leadership decisions, rather than personal failures. I'm just going all in on what I am actually really good at and letting go, like very rationally, of the things I should really not be doing. And this is not like because of my hourly rate or whatever, just being like, I want to do the things that give me energy and that create an ROI. That's it. Second thing I'm doing is I'm investing in myself more than I ever have. I currently have what I genuinely I call it my council of wise women. I have a leadership coach, I have a health coach, I have a business mentor, and I have basically a bunch of people who are smarter than me in specific areas, and I'm getting coached by all of them. Mindset, body, leadership. Honestly, I'm crying every week. I'm training myself with AI on how I speak, on whether I sound confident, whether I'm leaking uncertainty in my language. I want to be able to speak very, very powerfully. I have an incredible mindset coach currently who's coaching me on my limiting beliefs, on how I can turn on and off from work. I'm learning new things about my relationship with work and rest. My family, my friends, they've all said wow, you're a lot calmer currently. And so one of my coaches even said something to me recently. She's like, when I said I'm overwhelmed, she said, your brain can hear you. Say a part of you is overwhelmed. You're not overwhelmed. So this is just a small example of how I'm training myself and my self-talk. Because I'm going all in myself. This is it. And so for the first time in my life, even, I am training for a sports competition. Or I never thought I'd say that. I am doing things that challenge me physically in a way I've never have before. I am all in on my health, and I'm just getting supported on all of it. And last year, I went all in on my clients and my coaching, and I'm still doing that. But I've just realized on a very deep level, the number one person you should be going all in on is yourself. And I don't want to feel guilty about that. And I will say, both going all in on what I'm good at, going all in on investing in myself, these are habits I've been doing for the past 10 years. And every year there's another layer I add. And I'm recording this because I want to inspire you too, because I see a lot of people get stuck because they resist these things and they keep trying to get better at what they're shit at. And they keep trying to, save money not on their team or on their systems, but on themselves and their self-care. And like, you are your biggest asset. So treat yourself like your best asset and your best investment. And also number 3, my mindset coach, Sandra, is coming on a podcast soon. She said, Amy, I know you're a Formula 1 fan, and I saw you post about Max Verstappen, so I know you like him. What if we make this your Max Verstappen year? And I laughed because I smiled when I heard her voice note, because no matter how you feel about Max Verstappen, what I love about him as a driver and as a figure in the media who doesn't want to be in the media is he does not pretend to be anything other than what he is. He does not look at what other drivers are doing. He does not adjust his race to what other people believe is possible. He will race his best race every single time. If he would not have his Formula 1 car, but he would be on the track and they would give him a go-kart and tell him to race against 19 Formula 1 cars, he would do it because he is just focused on his own race every single time. And for the longest time, not consciously, but just because of social media and stuff, I'm not someone who's big on jealousy and things, but honestly, Instagram and social media can be so exhausting. So I see other people, other business coaching doing things. Sometimes I'm like, oh, they're doing better. Oh, they're doing less. Oh, their market is bigger. Oh, their branding is bigger. Blah, blah, blah. And it's just exhausting to compare yourself to others. So I've decided this is my Max Verstappen year. Because I keep holding back, I'm like, oh, my English is not perfect, so I cannot grow in a global market, or my audience is not as big, or I don't know as much as so-and-so, and I'm in Belgium and I'm not in LA, and those are all limiting beliefs. And I've slowly been breaking through them, but this year I can feel like there's a big breakthrough happening. So this is my Max Verstappen year. I'm done with my own limiting beliefs. That's also why I'm getting coached on it. And I realize when I'm watching someone else's webinar, they're not doing something I can't do. When I'm at someone else's event, they're not speaking on about something I can't do. So the difference has never been capability. The difference has been often that they've been in the US and they've normalized playing a global game, and I've been playing a Belgian one. So my new goal is getting my Instagram to 1 million followers, writing a best-selling book, and fully, and this is the big one of what it means for me, is claiming my authority on an international level instead of playing small. And if you will listen into previous episodes of mine, you will hear me say this often. This has been a big theme in my life. So proud of where I am, of my health, of my business, of my income, of my investments, my relationships. And I also believe I can continue to keep growing whilst already being happy with what I have. And so for me, this is my 10x this year. Not more content or more launches, not more content or more launches, just playing a bigger game and believing in myself enough to do it. Number 4, the thing that I'm doing to 10x my income is actually investing my profits outside of my business. So I've not talked about this publicly much, but if we are having an honest conversation on here, I have to include it. I'm not just earning money in my business. I'm also investing in other businesses. I'm not just, working one-on-one and trading time for money. I'm actually just helping other people scale their business also as a shareholder, which is really fun because then you're playing an infinite game. So I'm also using my own business profits to invest more broadly, having assets grow without me having to show up for them every day. And this is a big part of my financial independent plan. And one of the big reasons that's important to me is because I'm not currently building my own business to sell it, but I love working on other businesses to sell those. I love my team, I love my business, I love my coaching. I don't plan on selling my own FastForwardAmy brand or my business club. I want to keep doing that. And at the same time, that also means, using some of the profits here to invest in other businesses that might be sold or might go global, stuff like that. And also, I just said I'm also going global. So, and then I think I can add a 5th one. This is kind of aligned with the investing and the zone of genius, but so I'm hiring people. And I think hiring people is I'm not saying a taboo topic, but often it feels like a bit of a waste. I'm sorry for saying that, but sometimes you're like, well, but they can leave and this and that. And sometimes I feel a bit weird about being the person who has a higher overhead than a lot of people in my industry. But I think a lot of people, they keep their overhead lower than I do. And I applaud that. And I teach my clients that. And also for me, I know I could make more money probably short term by doing more myself and have a bigger profit margin right now. But long term, I just really see myself running a business that has core people in it who all have their own departments to run and this and that. And I will happily take a hit short term because I'm investing heavily in people to then long term have a team that is really running it alongside me, sometimes even without me. Because I'm actually building a company and I need people to do that. So yeah, it's not a side hustle that I'm running with AI. I actually need people leading this thing. So yeah. And to conclude this, something I've started doing inside of my mastermind that I want to give you today. Maybe you also have 10x goals. Maybe you also want to break through whatever you're doing right now. And maybe something comes up on a daily basis, something that is urgent or time consuming. Could be a client situation, someone asking for a refund, a team issue. And you probably have just like a bunch of small decisions and disturbances eating up your energy. And I have this too. So what I'm doing now, because I know I'm 10xing, is if my business was 10 times the size it is now, would I be spending time on this? And most of the time, the answer is no. So that tells me I'm actually solving problems and worrying about stuff that at a 10x business would not exist or would be handled by someone else or would have a process in place for. So it's a really fast way to see where you are thinking, but especially executing in a way that is too small. So as a close of this episode, are you building for right now? Are you building for this quarter? Or are you actually building something lasting for a decade? Because what I've realized is it's a very different strategy. And if you're still trying to figure out how to get more clients in this month, that is fine. That is where you are. But there's also this point where you notice, it's usually at multi-six figures, that the hacks aren't working anymore, where you kind of know what you need to do, where the real work is like the consistency, but especially the mindset work and building something that will actually last even when you are offline for a couple of weeks. And these are the conversations I have every month inside of my Gold Mastermind, inside of my Self-Made Millionaire Mastermind, all women who are on this journey, who are scaling and investing in themselves and usually thinking bigger than their environment. I made an episode about that last week, and they're really in it for the long game. And both of these masterminds include an incredible assessment of where you are right now and a concrete roadmap for you to hit your next level that I will personally create for you. Because 10x is not the same for everyone, and the path to it is very, very personal. So if you want to be in one of these rooms and get coached by me and get this assessment and roadmap from me, send me the word mastermind on Instagram on my FastForwardAmy account, or click the link in the description of this episode where I have an application form. Once you fill that out or you message me the word mastermind on Instagram, we will set up a one-on-one call and we can figure out together which of these masterminds is a fit for you, because you will not believe what is possible, how much growth you can accomplish in the next year if you just surround yourself with the right people, the right strategy, and especially the right state of mind. Okay, would love to hear from you if you're interested in the mastermind. And yeah, talk soon.